So this ain't 7 seconds.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Monty and Ash on the Monty Ash podcast show. I have a new co-host. We're starting a new podcast. It's gonna be me and my friend Ash. Say hello, Ash.
Hey guys, how's it going? So excited.
I got an applause track.
That is awesome.
We have a studio audience.
I need that more often when I perform comedy.
Oh, that's great. So yes, so tell us anything you're willing to share about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. Been living in the Nashville area for almost 9 years now.
Yeah.
Been doing stand-up comedy for about 4 years, but been consistent with it for about a year now and everything. I am single AF, so if there's any guys out there that wants to get to know me, you'll definitely get to know me a lot in this round. So Tinder's not up to par with what my expectations are.
You don't know what kind of can of worms you open up on this show.
Oh, I'm sure I probably just opened a can of worms on that. Just like how whenever I post stuff on TikTok, like I get the weird
crazy
ones. I actually got a message from someone on Facebook yesterday, and he's like, "Good morning, Sugarfoot." I was like,
Sugarfoot?
I actually had to look up what Sugarfoot was. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's just like, yeah, that's usually like a diabetic type of term and all this other stuff.
That's an old country term.
I'm not country, so I don't know. So.
What's up, Sugar? I gotta start using it now.
I was just like, I thought he was into like a foot fetish or something. And I was just like, good morning, ...
Sugarfoot.
Are you into feet? Like, is this what you're looking for? Like, what's going on? He's like, no, unless you have J-Lo feet, then we'll talk. And I'm like,
God.
oh,
He's looking
God.
at J-Lo's feet.
Yeah, he's into J-Lo's feet, I guess.
Goodness.
So, after that, I was like, I can't go on with this. Like, I could just bullshit him and everything, but no, I couldn't do that to him.
The more I say it, the more I like it.
I'm like, just go with like sweet cheeks or something like that. It was funny because I was talking to my guy friend about it. He's like, you know what? It's been a while since I've like seen that posterior and everything. So he goes, probably still sweet cheeks, whatever. But I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. And I'm like, no, you're not gonna see it. I'm not giving you a freebie or anything. So
Honestly, I'm not into feet. Okay, let's say if I was dating somebody, had a hard day at work, always on their feet, I would massage your feet.
Mm-hmm.
But don't ask me to suck your toes or lick your feet.
Oh yeah. I've actually had a guy that was like wanting me to do that. I'm like, nope.
No,
Lost all desire of everything with this person after that session.
I like it. We just started a conversation about foot fetishes.
I'm an open book. Like,
That's what I like about you already.
I'm just thinking, like, oh gosh, my family member's gonna be like, what is this child doing?
I love it.
Even though I'm like 32 years old, like, I still think some people in my family see me as an innocent little child, and now they're gonna know.
They're never, as a woman, they're never gonna see you as a grown up.
Right.
Never.
It's so true. Like, I've been, I've been doing well with finances and all these other things. Hopefully have my own house in the next couple years. That's the goal. And, they still see me as this, like, cute little innocent homeschooled girl. And that's another interesting thing about me, too, is I was homeschooled from, like, preschool to, like, middle school, and then I went to public school. And some people are like,
When did you go to public school?
It was in Seattle. It's a place
No, I'm
called...
talking about in what grade?
9th grade to 12th grade.
Okay, so you went to high school more or less.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And some people were like, oh, that makes sense that you were homeschooled. Or they're like, I can never tell. I'm like, well, that's a good thing, because when I went off to Bible college, there were so many people that you could tell that they were homeschooled.
Yeah.
Because they, like, are just super weird. Like, we fit a lot of the stereotypes of homeschoolers. And a lot of people, when they find out that I'm a homeschooler and they're like wanting to be a parent, they're like, oh, I'm like, don't do it. For the love of God, don't do it. Unless you have like a PhD or a doctorate, by all means, homeschool your child, because then there's better hope for them.
That's crazy.
Educationally versus trying to figure out yourself as the homeschool person, because most of the time my mom's like counting on her hands of what to do with math. I'm just like, well, I'm going to be screwed with math. And for a while I was, until I got a banker's job years ago, and everyone in my family was shocked about it. They're like, you suck at math.
And you work in a
And
bank?
how did you get a banking job? I'm like, connections, great personality.
That's funny.
And I figured out math somehow or another. So what made me stop being a banker was like seeing assaults that happen all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Did the bank getting robbed and stuff?
We had one attempted robbery once. Funny as it is, like, I've seen someone assault someone's car with a deer antler.
What?
Yeah, like, there was this one man that came in with a child, and he said, hey, do you have a public restroom? And I said, no, sir, we do not, because it's behind the teller line, that's for us, you know, so we can't, let you do that. So he walks out, and, he flips the air off. I thought he was flipping me off. I'm like, okay, something crawled up your ass and died. But, bless your heart, as the good Southerners would say. And then all of a sudden, one of my tellers is like, oh my God, they're fighting. And I'm like, what's going on? They're both rednecks.
Okay.
And there was a Hennessy bottle.
Okay. It gets even better.
And, like, one redneck guy with the Hennessy bottle, the one that flipped off the air, was chasing the other redneck guy.
Wow.
And tosses the Hennessy bottle at this guy and misses it by like this much. And we're just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And the other redneck guy runs to his truck. And we're thinking, oh shit. Either he's going to have like a big ass like shotgun, and he came out with deer antlers.
Deer antlers.
And starts hitting the fucking car. It probably did. It wasn't deer hunting season, I don't think. I don't remember what time of the year it was, but this was like my first month working at this bank. And as this car is pulling out, there was actually a woman in the driver's seat. And, of course, they had like a child in the car and everything. So, like, this child is probably having traumatic experience with like this redneck man hitting their car with deer antlers. Maybe. But also, it was on Murfreesboro Road.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, two rednecks on this road and everything. Like, people used to be like, oh yeah, you're on crack road.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, because I used to live over that area.
Yeah. So that's where I worked. I won't say which bank or anything like that, but you probably have like an idea, because there's several of them nearby.
I get the general direction.
Yeah.
Because, I used to have to skateboard past the projects to go to a library and get online. It's a long time ago.
So we did like a lockdown, and the redneck guy that was still there, that was attacking the other guy with the antler, the car with the antlers, we actually had him come in because we were making sure he was okay. He didn't have like the antlers or anything. We saw that he wasn't, dangerous or anything. So we're like, what happened? And he was just like, well, the guy like saw a cop pass by and flipped off the cop, and I just shook my head. And
that was it.
That's all how it got started. And I guess the lady that was the driver, they were drinking while driving, so she actually had Hennessy in a red Solo cup.
Wow.
And tosses it on the guy, and the guy's just like, this is not necessary, let's just keep it chill. And like, this guy's like, you got a problem? And so
that's always this question that gets every fight started.
Yeah. So I've experienced a fight with deer antlers before. It's the craziest thing. At a bank of all places. Like, there's plenty of bank stories that I have.
That's funny.
It really is funny. And like, after what really got me, like, after seeing all these different assaults that happen, like, one of my favorite clients seemed like a nice guy and everything. I found out he was on the sex registry list, and he wanted to take me out to dinner once. And
What?
yeah, and the funny thing was, like, he came to me, like, because, like, he had questions about
He wouldn't have raped you after dinner.
basically. So, but, like, because, like, it was mostly all guys I was working with at this bank. So they're like, oh yeah, this guy is really into you. I'm like, yeah, I can tell, but also I used against policy. I didn't know if it was against policy or not or anything, or if it was,
Yeah, but
looked
that
up.
was your excuse.
But that was my excuse, like, oh, I can't because it's against policy. And he actually came in with, like, a jury duty questionnaire type of thing.
Really?
And because, like, he didn't understand some of the questions, English was his second language type of thing. So I was, nice enough to help him out with, like, making sure that, what he got in the mail is something that he understood, explain it to him.
Yeah.
I think he just did it because he wanted to see me.
Yeah.
Like, he's a smart man. I can tell he's a smart man. But
yeah.
so when the question
That's
came,
smart.
well, the funny thing was the question was, have you ever committed a felony? If so, what was it?
And
He said yes. I was like, oh, he seems like a really nice, calm, cool, collected guy. And I was like, well, don't mind me asking, what did you do? He's like, I'll just answer that question later. So my curious little ass decides to Google. And I wish I didn't do that because I'm just like, I found his name on, like, the first thing was sex registry.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like, oh shit, what did he do? So I looked, and it was against a minor.
Shut up.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck. And I was like, okay, time for me to put that 2 weeks in. This is a sign that I need to leave.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's
I gave a girl.
really even true.
Okay, I know a friend of. Well, I used to say friend. I gave her daughter a compliment on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and so she tried to give me the label of pedophile. I said, no, that's not what this is.
Mhm.
I'm just saying your daughter looks nice. I'm trying to give her compliments. So after that, I stopped being friends with her because I don't want that label at all.
Right. Exactly.
So I can give a compliment, but I don't think I'm trying to hit your daughter up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, nah, I don't need that label. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
stopped being a friend. I blocked her, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's really interesting though too because like I started doing TikTok and then like these like teenagers were following me. So after a while, because like one was like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and I'm like, "You look young. How old are you?" Because they're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing throughout the day?" And I'm like, "Shouldn't you be at your job?" And then I was like, "No, seriously, like how old are you?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm like 16, 17 years old." I'm like, block. I'm not going to be the next Mary Kay Letourneau. Because, I'm from Seattle.
Yeah.
And my cousin's husband actually went to school with Billy Flau.
Really?
Yeah. He told me that. I was like,
That's crazy.
I don't know if he was in the same class when he was, like, first hitting up with Mary Kay Letourneau and everything. But, yeah, it was just really crazy. I'm just like, nope, mm-mm. Even when I taught English, I was like in Thailand because I lived in Thailand for a year. And
Thailand, bank, the bank, used to work in a bank.
yeah, so I used to work in a bank. I've done like
From
everything.
Seattle.
From Seattle.
I'm trying to get everything about you out there, so I'm trying to take mental notes. But keep going.
So the agency that I went through put me through high school, and I'm like 21 years old teaching high school students. And like some of these kids are like almost like 18 years old and everything. And I'm the only white chick at this school.
That's hilarious.
So I was basically like a celebrity to them at this school. I'm like, I feel like Angelina Jolie. I mean, I lost a lot of weight while I was there and everything. Like, I've actually been told by some people, like, you do have similarities like Angelina Jolie facially, but, if she had some curves to her. I'm like,
oh my God.
I don't know if that's a backhanded compliment or not, but it is,
That's
in a way.
hilarious.
But these students were just like, oh, and like they call white people farang, which means guava
Really?
in Thai. And it's funny because there was one chick, she's like, don't you find that offensive when they say farang? I'm like, I'd rather be something that's refreshing and, it tastes good because the guava over there is amazing. I'm like, I'd rather be called that than be called a cracker, which is like stale.
Are you
usually.
fluent in Vietnamese?
It would be Thai.
Thai. That's right.
I wasn't fluent in it. Like, it was really interesting. Like, I really wanted to learn Thai. Like, I knew a little bit to, like, say, like, here, there, that type of stuff. Like,
Some
very basic
phrases,
stuff.
yeah,
Some
okay.
phrases. And it'd be funny because, like, I would be like, okay, like, I taught you some English words. Can you teach me some Thai? And they're like, say this. Perfect. You speak perfect Thai. Now teach me more English. Because the more English that they know over there, the better they can do with jobs and everything.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many tourists there, and a lot of white men live there.
Yeah.
You can think of all of the above what it could be. Either they want a Thai wife or a Thai girlfriend, or it's the red light district.
Yeah. I heard about all that. Never
But
been there, but I heard all
it's
about it.
beautiful. It's so cheap. I wish I was smart in my early 20s and invested in property in Thailand, because Americans are very favored over there. Because the king of Thailand, before he passed, he actually was born in Boston,
Oh,
I
yeah?
believe. And he, lived there for a while here in America and loves Americans before he passed. So, like, Americans can own property in Thailand and everything. I should have done that because, like, you can get a whole condo, furnished everything, top of the line stuff, like 10 years ago, $20K.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, and like this is before Airbnb was ever a thing too. So I'm like, man, this would be perfect. I can just buy a place, rent it out to foreigners whenever I'm like back in the States and everything. Because I thought I was going to be living there for the rest of my life. A guy was involved of me moving there. Another day, another story and everything. But
I'm going to have plenty of time for plenty of stories.
oh yeah, plenty of time, plenty of stories. I got a lot of interesting stories, even though I'm, 32.
You're 32 years old and you have so much life you've already lived.
Yeah, and that's like something that you don't really hear about people my age and everything. Like, some people are like, you're 32 and you've already done all these different things. I'm like, yeah, because life is short and you're
Yeah.
not guaranteed tomorrow, so I'm going to live the hell out of my life.
There you go.
So,
Nothing wrong with that. I can't wait to have you on the show on Sunday.
yes.
Sunday we'll be at Rebar the Dam.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to thoroughly enjoy it because I love my audience. My audience is amazing. They show up, they act crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I love crazy people. I attract them often.
the reason why we're friends.
Right, exactly.
My girl Shauna's going to be in California, but we're still going to do our show, but we'll move our show to Reward the Dam. We get some equipment together, so all I got to do is pack up a laptop and just take that, and we'll set up the show there. So we're going to interview bands, musicians, random people who come in the bar. It's going to be really a different level of podcasting. So I'm glad we're doing this.
Yes.
We're going to be doing that there, so it's going to be just a different thing all around. I can't wait. I'm excited.
I'm excited for that. I'm going to be subscribing to it immediately.
Yes. Tell all your friends about us. Both of them. So yes, I thoroughly enjoy doing this. By all means, if you have any stories to tell, I told you we're going to have some special guests come on.
Mm-hmm.
My girl Jeannie Lewis is going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. She said she'll be moving soon, so after she's all moved in, then she's going to come over and do the show with us.
Perfect. I'm excited.
You gotta look her up. You're gonna laugh your ass off.
Okay.
Because she's a great friend of mine. But you're like, what? This woman? Yes, I love her to death.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll have to Google her because I usually do that with my dates anyways. I Google them as much information as I can.
When this show is, I'm gonna pull up. We didn't watch the videos, but I'm gonna pull up and just like, oh yeah, she does all this.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to like all the people that we bring in. Seriously.
Yes, I do have some other special guests I'm gonna bring in, other comedians at one point in time. If you have anybody you want to bring in,
Of course.
because I want to bring in a variety of guests. We have plenty of room, plenty of space, plenty of microphones, the whole setup.
Oh yes.
So this is going to be fun.
I'm excited. Like, this is already fun already. I'm like, I should have started this a long time ago.
Yes. I should have been looking for people a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
It's not to say I can't do multiple people. You know what I mean.
Yes, I
With
know what you mean.
multiple shows at once. So there you go.
Yes.
Give it applause.
Yes, applause. Like the song from Lady Gaga.
Yes. All right. We got like 10 more minutes. Anything you want to talk about? Shout outs. People you want to say hello to. I don't know. You name it.
Oh, jeez.
It's open ended.
It is open-ended, and that's the awesome but scary part, because I'm like, what can I convey?
About anything and everything.
Shout out to my best friends, Evra and Brittany
We
Bertoli.
gotta show the show. Yeah, when I get it online, we gotta show it to them.
Yes, I'm definitely going to do that. Brittany Bertoli is actually an amazing dog trainer here in the Nashville
A dog
area.
trainer.
Yes. Like, she has made my dog, like, a prince, basically, when it comes to training. And she has
What
her
kind
own
of dog do
facility.
you have?
I have a Beagle Basset Hound,
Aw.
and it's a rat terrier as well. So he's
Wait.
he's a little mutt, basically. He's
Okay.
adorable. His name is Tofu.
Tofu.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
plant-based. Vegan, actually.
Okay.
Unless I'm lit like a Christmas tree, and that's what I tell my nieces, so I don't say that I'm drunk. It's like, Auntie's lit up like a Christmas tree right now.
That's hilarious.
When I'm lit up like a Christmas tree,
No telling what's gonna happen.
I tend to eat, like, McDonald's
Oh my
chicken.
God.
Yeah, and it's usually not one, not two, but it's been 4 with cheese on it.
4 with cheese on it.
Yes, I go all out. It's like my inner ego still likes to eat meat, I guess. But when I'm sober,
See,
I don't eat
I
meat.
could be vegan, but I have to eat chicken. I
Mhm.
love chicken too much.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not a steak person.
Uh-huh.
I might eat a hamburger a month. But that's about it.
Yeah.
And I do like seafood. I don't know if some people say vegan and they eat shrimp and fish. Some don't.
Uh-huh.
I
That's more
do-
vegetarian than vegan.
Yeah.
If a vegan found out that you ate an animal, depending on the level of
It depends
militant,
on the level of.
yeah, because there's
But-
some that are very militant, where it's just like you don't even eat certain types of stuff because there might be bugs in that
Yeah.
item. So it just depends. And there's some people that are like me. I'm just like, if you want to eat meat in front of me, I'm not gonna cry. It's not, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, where there's
Yeah.
that one scene where, he makes like this dinner and it was like lamb. It looks extravagant, and she's just like crying her eyes out, and she's singing "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
Oh my God.
I tend to watch chick flicks with my roommate, but if it's by myself, I watch sci-fi.
Good.
Yes, I'm
We can talk
nerdy.
movies. I
Yes,
love movies.
I love movies too. I'm not much of a horror person, but I'm willing to like try it out again. The last time I really watched a horror film was like high school, and I felt it was like the most predictable stuff. But I'm sure they've upped their game since then. I'm not really sure. The Halloween Kill, though, I'm really tempted to watch because
Have you
that's
seen the first one? But have you seen the last one?
no, I actually haven't. The last one I saw for Halloween was like the very first rated R horror film that I ever watched, and I was like 10 years old. It was Halloween 20.
Nah. Okay. I've seen it, but
Mm-hmm.
if you watch Halloween again, watch only the first and second one.
First and second one.
Leave
Okay.
all the rest of them alone. Then watch the ones that came out with Jamie Lee Curtis not too long ago.
Okay.
And then the new one is coming out.
Okay.
So those all coincide very well. All the rest are kind of like, I don't know. It's just random killings, random It's
Yes.
just, no. It's not the same. But you want to follow the first 2 and the last 2.
Yes. Okay, that's good to know, because there's times where when it comes to like movie series, I'm like, do I need to start here? Do I need to start there? One of them, like, I should have just watched it from the beginning of it, was Alien.
Oh, really? So,
I never watched Alien before, and my ex that I had, like, he was like, you gotta watch it. So we watched like the latest one where it was like, later down in, like, the future type of thing, and it was just so graphic. And I usually can handle like gore, guts, and stuff, I actually had to take a pregnancy test because like I was feeling sick to my stomach. Like
Over the movie?
like it was that gory, I guess, where I was just
Yeah.
like feeling sick to my stomach. I'm like, this never happens to me. Like I don't. Like I was like I was running to the toilet like about to throw up type of thing because it was
Really?
that gory to me, and I was like, this is out of the ordinary. I'm like, I have to take a pregnancy test because I
That's
might be
funny.
pregnant.
That's
Thankfully,
funny.
I was not pregnant, however, because there's
We have
no way in
alien
hell him and I would be good co-parents at all.
Alien? Oh, that's funny.
So then finally he's like, well, let me show you the real alien, like the original one.
Yeah.
And I saw that, I'm like, that's not bad at all. Like, because, like, you can tell it's, like,
Yeah.
mechanical and everything. But, the latest one was just so, like, the graphics and everything were just so realistic. I'm just like, that looks like that person's face really came off type of thing. And it just made me sick to my stomach. Like,
That's
so
hilarious.
bad that I thought I was pregnant.
Oh, you're too funny. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I gotta see you on stage. Real alien baby coming out of you.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought was going to happen to my arm the other day when I was donating plasma. So,
That's the mystic one. You abuse right there.
well, the other day, thankfully, I was wearing a jersey, and I kept on kind of like hiding my arm. I think my grandmother was suspecting something. Like, she kept on looking. And I'm like, because I was talking about to her, like, oh yeah, I'm talking to this guy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, not connecting that. Oh shit, I shouldn't be talking about I'm talking to this guy.
And then her
And
bruise
then
over your body.
my arm is so bruised up and everything. Because then she's going to be like, well,
What did he do to you?
what did he do to you? Because that does not look okay. But I was trying to donate plasma because, you know, that's my way of, like, helping out during COVID.
Yeah.
Because there's, like, a high need of plasma donations. And I've done it before, plenty of times. And that was, like, the first time ever where, like, my arm was actually ballooning up. And I was, like, freaking out because, like, some blood did start coming out. So if you guys are squeamish, like, you can probably, like, mute it, do something, whatever. But, yeah, it was awful. Like, I thought alien was going to pop out of my arm.
God.
And I was like, blood, it's getting bigger, it's getting bigger. Like, I was freaking out, and everyone was just looking at me, which I'm just like, and like, of course, the person that was there was like running, like, to my rescue and everything. He's like, it's okay, you'll be fine. I'm like, I don't usually cry, but tears were streaming down my face because I really, like, I know that you're, like, because, like, people get plastic surgery all the time. People get, you know, breast enlargement and stuff like that. Like, of course, that's not going to explode or anything because your skin is so adaptable and everything, but it freaked me out. So, yes, this is my little battle scar for right now. I've been icing it, doing everything that they told me to do, and I'm still looking like I've been abused. So I've been wearing long sleeves.
Tell grandma it's rough sex. She'll be okay.
Good thing I wasn't drinking my drink right there because I would be spilling all over the place.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yes. Like,
You'll be okay.
yes. I love her. Like, a lot of people in my family are super conservative. So, we'll see how they'll like this podcast.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. Like, they're going to be praying for my soul.
Yeah, I know we're gonna be doing that anyway.
But some of them are Pentecostal too, so they might be like, you need deliverance.
Oh, shit.
We'll see it. We'll see how it goes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Right. With that being said, we got one more minute. You got anything you want to talk to anybody? Say hello to people. Of course, the show is this Sunday. That's going to be great.
Yes.
7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Headline the show will be my man, James Victor Cherry, whoever that is.
I actually never heard of him before.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, when I started comedy, I think we started about the same time.
Mm-hmm.
10, 12 years ago. I don't know when it was, but yeah. Back then, the comedy scene in Nashville was great.
Okay.
We all got along. We all loved each other. We all were supportive.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know what's going on in Nashville. It's good,
Yeah.
but it's so diverse.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are like, okay, we're at this team, or we were at that team. I'm like,
Yeah, I've been
come
kind
on,
of
we're-
noticing that
we're
a
like,
little
we're all
bit.
together doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yes. Anyway, I love him. He's going to be on the show. You're going to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
crap, somebody just contacted me. They want to be on the show.
Okay.
Laura wants to be on the show. I got several other people going to be on there.
Which Laura?
Do you know her last name? Say it. I think I know what it is.
Peak?
Nope.
No, not her.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think she's dating James. You don't know.
I don't know who's dating who when it comes to the comedy realm and everything. Like.
All right. Well, with that being said, that's
Yes.
it. Love, peace, and hair grease. Say goodbye.
Bye.
And that is it. We are out.